Suciotalk, episode 37. 37. I went up like 4 episodes in the last 2 days, so
awesome.
We're doing well. Chef, thank you for being here. Yes. We got Chef Sebastian from the restaurant Senor Bear. I just had a beautiful meal here. I got to say, it was beautiful with a couple of people that I had done the podcast with literally 10 minutes before we got here. So, Chef, how are you?
I'm great.
Fuck yeah. It's nice to have you, man.
Good night. Good Tuesday night here. Busy,
yeah, I hear you. You guys busy
night at the restaurant.
Yeah, for sure. So, this is what you're doing now, but here on Suciotalk, we take it all the way back to when you were a boy, right? So, where were you born?
I was born in Santurce, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Grew up in a restaurant. I was born. My grandfather had restaurants, hotels, nightclubs in San Juan.
Okay.
So I grew up in a kitchen.
Okay.
Down pastry shops, bar.
Yeah.
I was a little kid running around the restaurant, annoying all the.
So you grew up restaurant.
Yep.
Got you. So your all your family was doing this?
All my family was in the business. They kind of, as I was growing up, they were kind of staying in the industry, but leaving the restaurants.
Okay.
Kind of telling me not get into it.
Yeah.
And how hard-headed I am.
They're like, mijo, no hagas esto, and you're like,
this is me. It's in my
why
blood.
not, B?
So yeah, they were getting away of the industry. My uncle and my aunt went to more of the wine distributing.
Yeah.
My dad owns a specialty food distribution island.
Okay.
All like specialty items, chocolates.
Okay. Got you. ¿Cómo se? What's the name of the company?
Caribe Fine Foods.
Caribe Fine Foods.
Yeah, he started off as a how do you say that? Like a spin-off, not a spin-off, but distributing everything from there's a big company in the States called Sucio Fine Foods.
Okay.
I don't know if they've been around.
Yeah, they've been around forever.
So that's my mom's uncle started that company.
Oh shit!
So my dad kind of like started taking all the lines that they work in, and then he started gathering all stuff that being in Puerto Rico, being an island, it's hard to get stuff.
For sure.
So being in the industry in mid-90s, like all the chefs were kind of like looking for special products and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was the one who started like
getting it in. So he was like the first specialty produce company.
Not the first, but one of the ones that started like getting like one of the big things I remember mid-90s when everything had truffle oil. Like you couldn't get truffle oil in Puerto Rico. And he found somebody and started like selling truffle oil.
There you go.
I think that's why I hate it now.
I think we all grow to hate it. When you first start, it's like, oh yeah, it's great, and then you're like, this.
Yeah, so he was in the business too, but more like the supplier. But he made good friends with a lot of chefs that he worked with, and I got to meet him. He would invite him to our house for dinner every once in a while. So I was like, getting to like all these chefs from the island, kind of cooking at my house. One of the big things I remember, like growing up, like Super Bowl Sunday was like a big thing at my house.
Okay.
Like, he would bring all these like mostly European chefs, like German, Swiss, Austrian guys that.
That's crazy. You guys were watching football.
Yeah, we would just have like
because in Puerto Rico you don't hear nothing about football ever.
No, so it was just like a Sunday for all the chefs to like go to my house and get drunk and eat.
Sweet man, hell yeah! And how long did you live there?
In Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
I just grew up
high school
until I left for college.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Where did you go to college?
I went to college to Boston University. I did hospitality there, School of Hospitality. Kind of like following all my family was like go something more, do more business. There's other things in the industry that you can do. Like doesn't have to be kitchen. Yeah, and I did that. I went out there, but it wasn't for me.
Got you.
After I finished that degree, it was back into the kitchen.
2 or 4 years?
I did 4 years.
Okay, got you. How was Boston during that time? Were you working at restaurants?
I did not work in restaurants.
Okay, what did you do?
I just went to school and partied.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. That's the Northeast way.
It was. I kind of regret it a little bit.
Yeah.
Little things that kind of like being a rebel, kind of like my like wanting to like be in kitchens, but everybody telling me like, no, go study. So I kind of like I wasn't working in kitchens at that time, but right after I finished that, I was in a kitchen.
Got you.
Back.
What was the first kitchen you went to after all that?
After that, I went back to Puerto Rico and I worked at a restaurant called Augustos.
Okay.
It's one of the like fine dining restaurant down there. It's now called Ariel.
Okay.
Like Ariel is the chef who bought it. From the old Augusto was one old school chef down there.
Where's that at?
In Miramar. So it's like in Santurce. So, it's one of the old chefs. He, I think, was one of the opening chefs for the Caribe Hilton when the Hilton opened in Puerto Rico. And a couple of years after, he opened up his own little spot. It was like a fine dining little restaurant. Still there today.
Got you. Y para ese tiempo, ¿estaba José Enrique?
No.
Okay.
José Enrique probably was a couple of years after. I think he kind of like opened up and started.
You. So Ariel and them were like the big chefs down there at that time?
Yeah.
Got you. Was there any... there was big hotels too, right?
Big hotels.
There was French chefs over there, no?
Oh, there was
some
a lot
of those
European chefs down there. Like Puerto Rican chefs down there at that time, big ones were Willow Bennett, who's still around.
Yeah.
Mario Pagan, who has a couple restaurants down there. Definitely grew up kind of like...
That's like Santurce is like the mecca of food over there.
It is,
you know.
San Juan. There's definitely a lot all over the island, but like San Juan and Santurce especially is definitely
for sure.
A lot of like the big restaurants are down there. It's like a tourist area too.
Yeah.
So
and how long did you work at that place?
I worked there for almost 2 years.
Okay.
And then I went to culinary school after that.
Got you.
Kind of like with the push from him, the chef there was kind of like, go out to school.
Again, after you did your 4 years.
Yep.
He like, you need to go to school.
He was like, go to culinary school. I was like, I don't know why. He was like, there's not a lot of places where you can move up.
Yeah.
Up here in the island. So
okay.
Go get some experience.
So he was trying to get you off the island, basically.
He was also a graduate from the school, so
okay.
So he kind of was kind of pushing me to go there too.
Where at?
I went to CIA.
CIA, okay. Hyde Park or
Hyde Park.
Okay, I guess they didn't have the Napa campus.
I think Napa was starting.
Starting?
I think, or it was kind of like a couple of years.
Okay.
I think they were definitely starting around that time. It was 2006,
Gotcha.
5, 6.
And coming from all this background of kitchens, then you get into CIA. What are you thinking? Like, what's going on?
I was like super into that, kind of like coming in from like a fine dining restaurant. I was like super into that stuff.
Yeah.
Culinary school was good. It was great networking. One of the best things I got out of there was the networking.
I always tell everybody, man, culinary school.
Like I still like talk to a couple people from school.
Yeah,
and we definitely made a good group of friends.
Cool. Any chefs doing anything that we should know about?
Oh yeah.
Who do you got? Miro
Uskokovic, who's the pastry chef at Gramercy Tavern.
Okay.
Corey Siegel, who was commis for the Bocuse d'Or with Chef Rosendale.
Okay.
Who was the other? Couple people out. Who else?
You gotta hook me up with those fools, man. Hell yeah.
Mike Riley, who's a chef, I think now at Nomad in New York City.
Okay.
Kind of like that class 2. Definitely some people that were in
some heavy hitters, man. We
definitely had a good group of people that we kind of made some good friends.
Yeah.
We kind of started in this time where all the high school kids were starting. Made a good group of like people that were already done with school, like coming back.
Got you.
So it was fun times. We go down to the city once a month and go to a Michelin star restaurant and kind of like divide before everybody kind of like the reservation costs and stuff.
Is there any chefs from CIA that you still keep in contact with, or that you
teachers
that really impacted you or anything?
I not in the couple of years. I have my chef at one of the last restaurant, Chef Rowe.
Okay,
who I've still kind of kept in contact. He still comes up to Colorado a couple times, like during ski season most.
Yeah, he'll come see you here.
And I've kind of had a couple of drinks with him. I think twice that he's come up here.
That's dope, man. Hell yeah.
It was definitely a good networking experience.
Yeah. Now, was the plan to go back to that restaurant after you hit culinary school?
No.
But he was not having you back. No. He was like, you got to go.
Like, go out and learn.
What was the next step?
My next step, I kind of like after I finished school, I went to New York, staged at a couple places. Didn't feel it.
Where'd you stage?
I staged at a bunch of places, but I wasn't feeling New York. It wasn't for me. I was going to end up in a gutter or somewhere.
Okay.
So I kind of went back to Puerto Rico, and then I had decided to go back to Boston because I had been up there for school.
Uh-huh.
And I had a couple things lined up. And the day before I leave, I fell down some stairs and fractured 4 vertebrae.
No way.
So that kind of kept me in the island.
Okay. And what were you doing at that point? Just rehabilitating?
So I rehabbed for, it was almost a year.
Okay.
And then during that time, I kind of got in my mind to kind of learn new things. Kind of things that I wanted to learn. One of the things was doing charcuterie and beer. So I kind of homebrewed with a friend of mine. Started got a sausage stuffer and a grinder and started doing sausages at home and stuff. And then after I rehabbed, right in Puerto Rico, was the craft beer movement was right up, starting.
Yeah. Gofresi, right? Was the...
So there was a couple, these 2 guys that had opened up the first only craft beer bar called La Taberna Lúpulo in Old San Juan.
I think it's still there.
It's still
I went there.
It's still
there.
I
went there.
It's up in Fort
I remember.
Now.
Yeah, I had a couple beers
We
there.
It started on a couple streets down, small little spot, and I love beer, so I kind of started hanging out my last couple months of rehab. Became good friends with the owners, and after I got the go-ahead from the doctors to start working, I started working there. And it was just doing bar food. They had little dingy old San Juan. Little electrical.
La loseta, the
tile. The kitchen was an electrical stovetop that one of the burners didn't work. A little Bed Bath & Beyond fryer. And that was it.
Dude, most of those bars out there, that's what they roll with. And the food is amazing.
Yeah, we were doing burgers, fries, simple bar food, but kind of doing it good. And
were you doing alcapurria and stuff like that too?
No, not really. We were just doing mostly bar food. It was burgers, quesadillas, wings, chicken tenders, fries, and that was it. There was much space to do a lot more. But it was crazy. It was one of those bars we had the first couple of years. There was no closing times. So it was 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning.
You notice 5 in the morning the bar closes for 2 hours, and then all the people just go outside and wait. And then come back in when it opens at 7.
A little bit, we were kind of hey, this doesn't make sense. We used to we're not making money after a certain time, so we're just burning out. So we kind of got it together a little bit and kind of set it up. And after that, I kind of started looking. I was I'm down here, and the food scene was starting to pop off, and I was I don't want to go anywhere else. There's a bunch of farmers starting to
actually crafts and stuff,
work the land and kind of get some nice vegetables that aren't your normal stuff that you see on the normal diet down there. And I was why not? I want to open up my own spot. That's kind of what I did after that. I went ahead, had some money saved up, and was lucky enough that my family helped me out a little bit too. And I went head first and opened up my own spot.
Where was that?
In Condado. It's called Marcela Gastropub.
Marcela Gastropub. Got you.
The concept there was a small 36-seat blackboard menu. And we started in 2013, 14. And we started maybe first year 45% local product. And I ended up having to close it down after the hurricanes in 2017.
Got you.
But at that year, we were almost at 90% local product.
Did you close it down after the hurricane because of damage to the building, or just there was no business?
It was a little bit of damage to the building, but most of it was damage to the supply chain. All the farmers I worked with lost everything. And being a small restaurant like that, I didn't have a big food service supplier.
Exactly.
So it's after a hurricane like that, everybody's sorry, we're not taking any new customers.
Exactly.
So it was kind of going to Costco or Sam's Club.
And then you don't feel right doing that either.
Doing 300 people in front of you in line and doing it, and I kind of felt I don't want to tarnish the concept that we had, and just kind of started doing burgers, hot dogs, stuff like that. So after having worked for 4.5, 5 years, building what we were doing, I didn't feel right for me or my staff to kind of start doing some of that stuff. So I got on the phone, called all my friends that were working in the States, and I was yo, I got